Thank you so much for coming back to the Random Horror Show. Hello, hello, hello. How are y'all doing out there? And welcome back. I'm Keisha Lacey, sweating up a storm in this Texas heat. And I have a really nice little treat for y'all. Not just one, but two, but three movies that I have watched. And oh my gosh, I went down the Tubi rabbit hole with these films. And suffice to say, I have injured myself. I have injured myself, so I'm doing it from my bed and I'm resting on muscle relaxers and stuff, and they're not doing worth a damn. I still feel some tension. But yeah, I did have an injury, and I'm just gonna say this right here, especially for my Gen Xers that are listening. Make sure that you stretch at every fucking moment in your life. I'm talking about stretch before you put on your shoes, stretch before you go to bed, stretch after you take a dump, stretch when you walk out the house, stretch when you get in your car. I'm just saying, stretch. The important thing, especially for us mature, still young and amazingly beautiful Gen Xers out there, is stretch as much as you can. Stretch like Plastic Man. I don't give a shit. That's the reason why yoga is very popular with us. But tonight's episode, as I am in my bed resting, I'm going to be talking about Phenomena or Creepers by Dario Argento, the master of Italian horror from Suspiria, Demons, many that you have like come to love, hate, or whatever and everything. Um, Another one that is from the 2000s with two R&B stars, Omarion with his damn dancing ass and everything. Y'all remember that? I got this ice spot where my heart used to be. And Marquise Houston, who was in the group Immature when he was a very young age, starting off in the music business. And of course, he does his role as Roger in Sister Sister. Somebody Help Me. And then on to this film. Is one of those bad ones, but it's so boring, entertaining at least. It's called Titanic 666 with Keisha Sharp and Anna Lynn McCord. Um, Not to like be detracting from what happened last month with the whole Titanic accident, them I'm just gonna say it like this. I feel really bad for the little 19-year-old boy. I really just don't go deep into like stuff like this because when I heard this, I was like, the news, and I was just like, them people are dead. Like, I mean, I'm not the smartest person. I'm just a little country girl with like, uh, who dropped out of, of the university. With it, I don't know. I guess my GPA was 2 point something. I can't remember, but I dropped out as a junior. But I know when a little bit of science, a little bit of technology. Like I said, I'm just a regular country girl, that dropped out. I'm a college dropout, but I know with certain points of like how you have such a small you know uh, tuna can built shaped thing, and you're going down in the water very deeply, that yes, the pressure from the water does crush you. But I do feel bad, and my heart does go out to for the 19-year-old. He had a whole life ahead of him. He really did. And not to be saying what I really be saying and stuff, but I knew he didn't want to go on that boat or tuna can, whatever it is. But it was not safe at all. So enough of that right there. But of course, there was other news that was going on. But you know how media is. But no further ado, what I'm going to start off. Let me think. You know what? I am going to start off with Somebody Help Me. Somebody Help Me is one of those 2000 like '07 movies, of course, I said it has like Omarion and Marquise Houston. There are a couple of fellas with their two girlfriends and everything, and I was sitting there watching it. I mean, it just had like that I Know What You Did Last Summer. They're going off to a cabin to Lake Arrowhead to spend, the weekend on, with Marquise's Houston, his character's girlfriend's birthday. She turns 21. It does start off like, with the kissing and junk shit and everything. And I was just like, ew, I'm so grossed out. Like I said, it was basically summer vibes. Everybody's like all rubbing and dry humping each other. Marion with his light skin, Marquise with his light skin in the front, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're bringing me to the cabin for my 21st birthday." And then I got to thinking to myself, I was like, "Oh my God, like." You have like a really shitty boyfriend, because like for real though, I would not like ever like celebrate my 21st birthday, going to a cabin, with his friend and whatever and shit like that. That's just me, but I spent my 21st birthday like actually with my daughter, cuz my daughter was born before I turned 21, but I made up afterwards whenever she got older. But like for real, in my mind, I was just like, now y'all could have went by yourselves to, cabin in the woods by yourself. You know what I'm saying? No interruptions, no people whatsoever. Have the fucking party, in LA and everything with your friends and stuff. And then y'all go on to the cabin. But like, it's just like, I was like, this is too crowded right here. So I was like, ew, okay, whatever. So they make it to the cabin. Of course, you have the nosy, creepy neighbor who keeps checking on them, looking at them, lurking at them, staring at them, and stuff like that. And they're just like, oh my gosh. But Amarion's like girlfriend was like, I don't like this cabin in the woods shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I feel you though. Like, I really feel you, because like I was like dead ass right there. I was like, first of all, though I live in the country, and we call it living in the country, you know what I'm saying? But like y'all city folks, y'all call it like, we gotta go and like rent a cabin in the woods and like go camping and shit like that. And I was just like, yo, we could do that. Like, we just do that for a few fucking hours, and that's just call us walking in the woods, enjoying nature. But anyways, tomato to tomato, carry on like that. So there was this, like, the preface of like this movie is that it was like somebody getting murdered, and it was like 3 years like before they arrived at the cabin at the woods for old girl 21st birthday. And so like they went in the town to like get some snacks, some like foodies and stuff like that, because you don't want to starve to death in no damn woods. They don't have like the proper tools to like kill them a rabbit or like a deer or something like that. Come on now, these are like city folk right now, you know. So, they meet the sheriff. The sheriff is like extra, extra nosy and stuff. And I was just like, okay, sheriff is extra nosy. And I was like, damn, sheriff, you could have like been a little bit more like, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Well, you boys and everything. I'm like, just like, oh my God, did he just not say you boys? You could have said young men, sirs, something like that. I mean, I know they're like, new in the town and they're just like there for the weekend and stuff. But I was just like, sir, I'm gonna have to need for you to be a little bit more cordial and have a put some motherfucking respect on that. So, they asked the sheriff, who was that staring at him, and he told them that's like old man McGrady. He's like creepy and he ain't right in the head and stuff like that. And of course the sheriff like knew Marion's character uncle, because they're like, oh yeah, he's like friends with me. he's like, y'all fam, and everything. And then afterwards, that's when he start like, giving dabs and stuff because like he found out, being nosy. And that's just how it is in a small ass town. They always be asking all these goddamn questions and everything, like who your people, who you with, and everything else. If you look unfamiliar, you look a little strange, a little out of place out of town. That's just how it is and shit and everything. But a lot of times you get meet with a lot of hospitality, not hostility and everything else. But anyways, carrying on. They make it back with like their food and stuff. The girls are like, like, hey, we're gonna get like, we just gonna get our cheeks clapped and everything else. But like Marion's character is not like really like somebody that is like very, I guess like saying like caring, because like his girlfriend was just, she was just like, oh my God, like, look at them. Like, they're so sweet. Oh my God, look at them. They're like canoodling with each other, whatever that word is. Canoodling. That's it, canoodling. But, and he was like, ooh, I want to do that. And I was just like, girl, don't you know you have like some black struggle love right there and shit? Oh my God. Like recognize the signs. So later on that night, they are like met up with their friends and like, but I was like really, really shocked that everybody was like paired up with a person, you know what I'm saying? So it was like equal, it wasn't nobody that's like a third wheel or whatever, like looking sad in the corner because everybody's like making out and stuff. Like everybody like really, really liked each other except for Mario and his girlfriend and everything. She was just a little bit too much into him and he wasn't like really like that much into her. Like sort of kind of, but he was kind of like an asshole with it and everything. So they're just like, hey, how's the celebration? Bye. Oh my God, it's your birthday. And so they got drunk, the typical fashion of like when you're 21, you're going to get drunk in the, at a cabin on the weekend. Of course, like they calls for sex. And of course, they like got all drunk. So like two of the friends like left and they were like all like drunk and shit, like reminded me so much of like pastor parties. And if you don't know what pastor parties are, if you live like in a rural small town or whatever like that, and for us kids and everything, because the only thing that we did as teenagers up to like 22, 21, that's the reason why we have too many kids and so many like teenage pregnancies and bullshit like that. But there's like a wave of like young adults now. They like, hell no, we ain't trying to like have them damn babies and shit and everything else. Well, I'm like good for them and shit, because I be like, yo, y'all can't be having the kids when y'all 20, 21 years old, because y'all don't even know yourselves. Y'all don't even like know how to wipe your ass real good. So, of course, they're gonna have sex and shit like that. But like back to what I was like saying about pastor parties. But like pastor parties are like those parties that stay fun. If you ever watch Dazed and Confused, it's about like that. You have somebody older to like go get your alcohol. Everybody collects their money, pull it in, and then somebody goes to the liquor store, buy like a whole bunch of like just nasty stuff like Mad Dog 2020, Boom Farms and everything. Yeah, I'm telling about my yeah, that was very telling of my age. Shit like that and everything. Goldschlager, remember Goldschlager? That peppermint schnapps, whatever it was, they had like the gold flakes and everything. Oh my God. I don't know what to choose, either Fireball or Goldschlager. And I've got to thinking, I say, ooh, to choose the lesser evils and everything, I would go with the Goldschlager. That's just the old school in me a little bit and everything. I guess so. But that's what we used to do and everything. And of course, like, cops get called. You might have a couple of people that get into fights. There's a lot of people making out, having sex, whoop-de-woo, like that. It took me 3 times to go to a couple of them. Till the last time I was super, super ass drunk. Cops showed up. Cops came in the car, looked at me and everything. The motherfucker knew I was drunk and everything. I was drunker than a skunk. I could have went to jail or got an MIP or whatever. But thank the Lord, thank Satan, thank like Oprah, all of them and everything. They healing hands. The blood washes over me and everything. I made it to the house and I never again went out and snuck out the house like I used to do and went to pastor parties. So the end, they really suck. They're boring and everything, and it's just the lamest shit ever. But anyways, But they get caught by the like killer that's on the loose and stuff. So they went to go look out for their friends, and I was just like, why don't you call the police? And of course, like they were like, no, no, don't call the police because the sheriff knows my uncle, and I don't want to alarm my uncle and everything else. And then of course, like the adult in me, like call the authorities. Call the authorities. I don't give a shit if your uncle finds out and everything. That is the adult thing to do. You're 21. I'm like, y'all in there fucking each other and drinking and everything. You're old enough to vote, drink, fuck, and everything else and pay taxes and everything. Of course, you're going to have to call the like authorities when your friends are missing. But y'all can hear that my twang coming out really bad and stuff because, you know, you got real deep right there. But yeah, they were like, but then again, of course, I totally understand. That's just a to keep the pacing rolling of the film, to keep, intrigue and suspense and like what's going to happen next. So they were like trying to find like each other, and then, of course, like Omarion and the little dude and everything, they said little dude said split up, and then Omarion had this look because it looked like he was about to like come out of character and say, man, that is the most white people shit ever, but he just like had to hold it back, like split up. What you mean split up? He's like, you know what happens when you split up. And of course there was like some couple of colorful like dialogue in there, of course, like with Omarion's girlfriend, whenever they were reporting about the missing friends and stuff, and of course the sheriff asked like, oh, how do they look? And she said white, and I was just like, oh my god. I couldn't stop laughing. They're white. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I couldn't stop laughing. She didn't say like one of them had blonde hair or another one had the inhaler or whatever like that. And I'm gonna talk about like the girl with the inhaler too. She went missing also. But anyways, so they say, hey, you got a camera, and she's like, girlfriend who had the birthday party, she's like, yeah, I got a camera and everything else. This is how they look, yada, 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 whoop-de-doo. He went back to the sheriff's office and everything to, like, look for clues and evidence and everything, and blase, 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 blase. So there is like this Nightmare on Elm Street element of like of the lullaby song, because like Marquise is like Houston character, it keeps having these dreams. Ever since he got to the cabin, he started having dreams of this little white girl, this little dead white girl and shit and everything. So she's like singing this little Freddy Krueger song, like, Nightmare on Elm Street, little lullaby. She's swinging and shit. She looking dead as hell and everything. And he's like, don't even understand what's like going on. Like, why is he having dreams of just some little old blonde haired white girl? He was like, I think I'm going crazy or whatever. But he was like trying to be like the rational character in this movie, but really his rationality was like maybe the size of a roach or an ant or whatever, because there was a lot of shit that he was doing just did not make any sense to me. Because I'm like, okay, I understand you try to be rational, you try to be logical throughout these situations, like the intensity is high, you can't find your friends, they've been missing, now, like, check this out. Now I'm a girl and like my homeboy girlfriend is missing and shit. Like, oh my god, and we have this creepy dude, being around the cabin. We finally called, the sheriff, and he's like, I don't know what to do. So like he was like trying to be the motherfucking hero in this movie. So he like really sucked as one, but like he was just like all over the place and everything, because I was just like, you are making me mad. And of course there's like a scream level from like me of like saying, hollering at him, hollering at the girls, I'm just hollering at everybody in this movie. And of course, like, I am hurting because like I pulled a muscle and everything, but still I'm like hollering, I'm like laughing at everybody, I was like, what is this shit? But like the killer like does his like whoop-de-doo thing in the presence of like Saw and Dr. Giggles and everything. He is like one of those like killers that like to tie his victim up. He had like a ball gag, and he injects them with like some Novocaine or something. I don't know. Like a local anesthetic, and then he goes to like pulling, you know, ears and scalps and noses and whatever he can like pull off of these people and stuff. And he has them in cages like they dogs and shit. And I'm sitting there thinking and scratching to my head. I was like, don't y'all motherfuckers know how to do like a karate kick or something like that to like kick the it was like a dog kennel. It was a dog kennel that they were in. And of course it had like a master lock or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, y'all have like some, I mean, I could tell like the dude kind of like drugged him and stuff, because that's what he does whenever he gets the people like in this movie, that he drugs them. But I'm just like, y'all have like this certain amount of time. I know like it was some times like I got doped up, not like leisurely or nothing like that, but like in a medical sense, whenever like I'm sick or something like that, or I'm like in the ER, and like a lot of times like my body will like fight through it and everything, and I can like literally like hit somebody really hard. I mean, I actually kicked somebody that was like really terrible and everything, but like I had an allergic reaction. I kicked somebody, but like I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, y'all can't get out of this shit. I'm just like, y'all in a dog kennel and everything else, and y'all can't kick that bitch or something like that. No, they could not do that. I'm just like, oh Lord Jesus. But then again, like I said, that just makes the whole part of the movie like very intriguing. That they're like in this, this hostile type. It's like got a lot of like a couple of horror movies like Hostel, and I said Saw. I said Dr. Giggles. In it, and a little bit of like The Dentist also. So it comes to find out like this doctor, it has like like a real bad case of like mental illness. He lost his wife, and then he messed up a patient. uh like it was like the anniversary of like her dying and losing his wife. It was like March the 6th. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, seriously, like it has to be in March. I'm like, shit. Pisces season, really? Come on now. Come on, dude. So like our feeler's like hero and everything, he finds them, but he actually has help. So like remember I was telling you about the little dead white girl, he was having dreams and she was singing all that like Nightmare on Elm Street like lullaby stuff and everything. Turn out that she is actually a living, breathing person, and I was just like, this is really confusing to me, because why are you having dreams of some woman, little girl that's dead, but she's alive, she's got these keys, she let them in. I'm thinking like maybe that's just a figment of his imagination, but that was like the very confusing part of this movie right here, is that how you gonna have her looking dead and this dude having dreams and haven't met her, but you make her alive to like where she is like living, breathing, talking, farting, helping them out. And I'm just like, this is really super confusing. So I would call her Jesse. So Jesse was like helping him out, and then I was like, okay, maybe like I said, it's a figment of imagination, but no, it's actually not a figment of his imagination, because like his girlfriend can see it, and she was like almost about to get like popped by like by the killer dude and everything. So he like really let like his friends out. There was like a couple of his friends like died. The sheriff's like dead in the motherfucking gym. He's dead. You know what I'm saying? They got out. Dude got shot and everything by like the creepy old neighbor dude. There was like a fight scene. Basically, excuse me, those are my allergies. But yeah, they fought with knives, and yeah, he got shot by the creepy neighbor, nosy dude and everything, and police came, it was like everybody's like safe, suffered a couple of people that like died, a couple of our friends and shit. And then of course like the killer like slips through the cracks because they put up like all these roadblocks, to make sure that they catch him, within the area. And there's like the little girl, and then like there's him. He has like his hat tip. He like has it down, and I was like, that is like the stupidest like state trooper ever. And I was like, bro, do you not see this dude, like how freaking suspicious, very sus of him to have his face down, everything down and everything. No, he did not catch that. I was just like, Lord Jesus Christ. And that was the end of the movie. And of course, he had like little Jessie with him, she's alive and stuff like that. And that was the end. But like, Somebody Help Me was like one of those like Tubi movies that like it's like a horror mystery slasher. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like the mystery was like not bad at all, because you really didn't even know who this cat is, and you really still don't know who this cat is. I mean, all you seen was him in a mask, and like you see in The Strangers or something. This came out before The Strangers. And he is just like, he has like this backstory, which they did not did you know what I mean, they did a really good job of like having this backstory, him going crazy. There was like that 3 years prior when they came to like have like this celebration of like this old girl 21 first birthday and everything, that he actually have some type of motive. And he was a plastic surgeon, so he was like cutting up body parts and everything. I don't know who he was going to sell it to, and I guess he was like black marketing him, or I feel like he had him for trophies. And of course, it's like it really never explained about like the old nosy neighbor dude, because like in the end he did like an interview, and we just never heard this dude talk. And this dude is like super mute like all through the movie. And then I was like scratching my head, because like it was like a part in it of where you seen two people like dragging two bodies out, which was Omarion and like Marquise's like girlfriends in the movie. And I was just like, wait a minute, there's two adults right there, what the hell is going on? So is it like the old nosy dude and everything was helping him to like keep his mom and stuff, or what? I don't know. That was like some confusing parts. And like I said, the confusing part about the girl, which really didn't even make any sense. Now, it would have made so much sense if like the girl would have been dead and it would have been one of his victims and stuff. Now, that would have made it like much better right there. And you'd be like, ooh, that's crazy. Or like that's his daughter or something. I don't think that's his daughter. I think it's just some random ass little girl. I guess it's like the victim or somebody that he killed or accidentally killed, and he just like taking care of the girl, because he felt bad and very guilty, doing that to her mom and stuff. But like, I was just like, this is like really weird. This is like there was like no type of chemistry whatsoever like among like the main actors. I mean, it was like pretty dull, like how they're like acting, especially with the girlfriends. It was just like, I was just like in my head, I was like, what, if I was 21 years old and like Marquise Houston and like Omarion like came up to me, I'd be like, hey, how you doing, like that. But I wouldn't even like date him or whatever and shit like that, because I'm just like, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, this motherfuckers can't fight. I'm like, oh, y'all suck. I'm just like, bitch, I'm just finna pick up a pipe and everything and just start wailing the fuck out of like this dude that's like coming after me. I'm like, y'all ain't shit. That's like how I was feeling like all through the movie. You gotta get like that good, like how you emotional, like how like emotional like you are, like just watching like a really like just, it wasn't fun. It was slightly boring, but it was like not bad. It wasn't like really mid, but it wasn't bad. But like this is the only movie Omarion wasn't even dancing in and stuff, which I cracked up laughing. I'm like, shit, this ain't no damn Stomp the Yard and everything else. I couldn't stop. I had to like throw that in. I had to throw that in because of Omarion. But yeah, go check out Somebody Help Me. It does. It's like it's not bad. You know, it's got some pretty good like mystery, but then there was like a couple of parts of it that was like very confusing, especially with the little girl with the killer, even down to the neighbor. It's just some things about it that I was just like, this is pretty typical. And of course, it borrowed a lot from a couple other like really great horror genre films. Some of them are like, cult classics, and some of them are just like, ones that we really, really, truly love. And up next, we're going to be talking about Dario Argento's Phenomenon or Creepers. Be right back. All right, we are back with the second review and commentary from my Tubi laying up in the bed hurting like hell weekend. And we're going to be starting off with Phenomena or Creepers. Phenomena is actually the Italian title release, and Creepers is the American release. And of course, it is directed by Dario Argento. Trust me on this right here. I was like laughing because it was just so like much the Argento way. I want to say Sargento like the cheese, but it's like Dario Argento. But like, if you love Demons, I think Demons had like a different title release also. A lot of his movies, they're like the master of Italian horror. Argento he has some good ones, he has some excellent ones. Suspiria is like one of my favorites. But this one right here, I actually did watch this when I was younger, and it's like a certain part in here where I actually started to remember it. I was like, oh snap, I do remember this. But let's go ahead and get started with Creepers or Phenomenal. Well, it starts off as a tourist getting left on from the bus, and I was just like, girl, like, how the hell did you get left? Like, you stayed too long. So she's running about, trying to catch up with the bus, and I'm just like, girl, you need to like condition yourself or whatever to catch that bus. You know what I'm saying? Like, we caught the bus and everything. When that bitch started running off and everything, I was like, oh, we finna run. But so she goes into this house and she's like hollering, hello, hello, and there is like somebody there. She was trying to use the phone because she got left by her like tourist party bus, and it broke free. So when she's in the house saying hello, hello, she sees something that terrifies her and she starts to run. Typical white girl run. No, now I'm like, now you're running and shit. You couldn't run after that damn bus. Now you're running for your damn life. Shit, you should have caught that damn bus. So she is running, and of course, in the typical Argento fashion, somebody comes with the scissors. I'm telling you, Argento is obsessed with people's heads going through windows and lots of stabbing and knives and everything. So she gets stabbed. Of course, her head in that orderly fashion. That is his trademark right there. Argento style goes through the window, breaks, blood, decapitation, and it falls down into like this little babbling brook, spring, waterfall. So we will meet Jennifer, which, by the way, is Jennifer Connelly, who has been in so many movies. She is also married to Paul Bettany, and she plays Jennifer. Jennifer is an American girl that her father is this world famous, actor and everything. So she's going to a Swiss boarding school, all girls, okay? Same thing like in Suspiria, but you had homegirl and stuff. She goes to, a ballet school. It was co-ed, but you see the more focus is like on the girls. So she goes to an all girls boarding school, and she is like very friendly, very open-minded, and she's in the car with this like lady. She's like this chick that picked her up from the like airport, and it was a bee that came in, and the woman started going hysterical over a bee, and I'm like, first of all, that is a bumblebee, and I'm like, bumblebees rarely sting, and like they're so dull, but they're because they're too heavy and cumbersome. And I'm just like, lady, you should have studied this shit like when you was in high school or junior high or whatever, secondary, primary school or something. But interesting enough, the bee lands on Jennifer, and Jennifer's like, don't kill it, don't touch it, don't swat it. She's like, it's friendly, it's not gonna hurt you. She's like, I love insects. And the lady just looked at her crazy, like, yo, this is a strange girl who loves insects. I'm like, lady, there's a lot of people that like insects and everything. Like, you need a life. So she gets to the boarding school. And of course, in the window. I know I have Insidious on my mind and stuff. I need to go see that Insidious movie. And of course, like I'll let y'all know if I'm going to do a review or whatever. I always do like a pop up. But anyways, so she's like staring down, like, like that. And you could tell like she ain't like she a loose screw too. And Jennifer goes and meets Sophia. No, excuse me, Sophie. And Sophie and her became friends. And Sophie was asking her so many questions because she was like, oh my God, how do you know this actor? Oh my God, I love his movies. And she was just like fangirling and everything. And the girl like asked this question, which was like a little bit odd to me. But I was like, ooh, it's not inappropriate. But like, if you think about it, it is inappropriate. But like, they're just two 14-year-old girls just talking and everything else. And she's like, how do you know so much about him? Have you been to bed with him? And I was like, oh shit, that's a little triggering to me right there. And Jennifer's like, no, that's my dad. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, that's a harmless, it was a harmless question because she was like, wow, you know so much about this famous actor. I love him. I love his movies. He's so great. Like, girl, is he like, bedding you? And I'm just like, oh, girl, don't you? I'm like, girl, you 14. But then again, I got to think about when I was a 14-year-old girl, and like, yeah, like there was like some older men that was like really nice and cute and dreamy and shit. But that's like fantasy because when you start to like, yeah, like some inappropriate stuff or whatever. I never had that, but it was like some weird. I was like kind of thinking like when the reality sits, I'm like, oh hell no. I was like, I'd rather have a boy around my age with his musty balls and everything and just stank, breath stank, musty balls and everything else. I was like, I don't want no grown ass man. I ain't grown, hell. But back to this wonderful movie. Jennifer has a little bit of a secret. She sleepwalks. So she's sleepwalking all through the school grounds. Well, there's a part of the school grounds that is, torn down. Nobody doesn't go there because the headmistress told her, like, don't go over there. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go over there. So when she's sleepwalking, I'm telling it was just like shit falling down. She's walking on the ledge, that thing fell down. I'm like, oh my God, like, girl. And I was just like, oh my God, she's sleepwalking. But during that time when she's sleepwalking through the school, of the part that was like so messed up and jacked up, is that the killer was on the loose, and there was a young girl running away, and she's just trying to get away with her life, just oh my God, she's like lighting candles and trying to see, and the killer was in the room with her in this, the part of the school that's real messed up. And of course, in the Argento fashion, signature trademark, you see the hands, the mystery behind that. Makes you wonder who that is, and he's putting together knives. I'm like, that is the longest ass knife right there. So when Jennifer turns around in her sleepwalking, dream and stuff, if you ever think about like how people sleepwalk, it's more of like a lucid dream that they having, but they don't realize that they're actually up and walking around and doing crazy stuff, but they're not crazy and everything. And never wake up a sleepwalker. Please don't do that. That is so terrible right there. It's a whole mess. But you just let him, just push him, just throw him in the bed, and don't wake him up, and that's it. So the girl was stabbed right in front of Jennifer, but guess what? Jennifer didn't see it because guess what? She's sleepwalking. So she kind of like wakes up like out of that sleepwalk haze. She falls down, and I was just like, damn, that is the strongest material that she has for her robe. And then she falls in the bushes. I was like, god damn, what is this girl? Is she like Wolverine or something? Is she like, her bones are like made of antimanium or something like that? Because that girl didn't even have a damn scratch on her body, and she was wearing all white. And I was like, where's the dirt? Where's the dirt? Where's the scratches? Where's the dirt? I mean, she is like pristine. So she's like in the middle of the road, like disoriented. She don't know what's going on. She wandered off and everything because guess what? She's sleepwalking. She don't know what the hell's going on. And these two guys, I think they was like speaking in Austrian. Did I say it right? Austrian, German, something like that. But anyway, they were kind of like Austrian and stuff. So they were like, hey, you're okay, and all that stuff. And she's like, she's still disoriented. She still doesn't know what's going on. I mean, she's confused. I mean, come on, you sleepwalking. You fell down off of damn school. You should have been dead, broke bones and everything else. And they got a little bit real weird and handsy with her and stuff. And I was just like, oh my god, this is like really creepy right here, because these are like grown ass dudes. And I'm just like, really, that's some nasty shit. Like, so inappropriate. Like, you find a girl who is disoriented, she don't know what's going on. You could have calmed her down and took her to the hospital or something. But they like, forget it, fuck it. We want to do something with her. I'm like, disgusting. But again, that's how a horror movie is. It's stuff like that makes us uncomfortable. So she was like, hell no. So she kicked the damn door open, and she like flew down, a ditch, and she was just like untouched, scratched, whatever. And I'm just like, this girl is like Wolverine or something. She just got these healing powers and shit like that. So she meets up with a chimpanzee, I think she did, or something like that. But I think that's later on in the movie. But she sees like these two ladybugs, and these ladybugs noticed her. And so they just started like talking to each other. And then she comes back to the school. Not really come back to the school, but she finds herself like with Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance is in this movie. Donald Pleasance pretty much just said, I'm tired of Michael Myers. I'm tired of hunting him down, killing him, shooting him, blowing him up with a bazooka, slashing him. I mean, mincing him to pieces. He keep coming back. Michael Myers like did a bad number on him. He's in a wheelchair in this movie. So Loomis moved out of the country, and he settled down in Switzerland. He's in a wheelchair now. He's like, I ain't fucking with Michael no more. I'm going to study insects. And that's what he does. I'm going to just call him Wheelchair Loomis. So Wheelchair Loomis like helps her out, and he noticed that the insects at his like house was like reacting a little different, and she was like, hey, I love insects and everything. And he was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. And he was just like chopping it up with her. Very intelligent. You could tell Jennifer is very intelligent girl, and that, it's not because like she's so mature for her age. Weird, because like I think like what in this movie, it was kind of like implying like she's so mature for her age, but she's 14, and I'm just like, yeah, I know she is mature. She's a mature 14-year-old, but that doesn't mean like she mature like a grown-ass woman. Okay? So, like, I was catching that subtly, all through this, because Wheelchair Loomis said something that was really creepy, and I was just like, Wheelchair Loomis, you need to slow your wheels down, okay? And, keep it to yourself, old ass man. And he has a chimpanzee. She's like very helpful and stuff. So she makes it back to the school. The headmistress, she was like a total bitch. I mean, this chick is like a cunty cunt. And she's now like saying to like Jennifer, because she's an American girl and that her daddy is like a famous actor, that she's just acting out. No, she wasn't. She actually has a issue of like sleepwalking, and she finds like sleepwalking to be this mental illness. And I was just like, oh my god, we're taking it this far, bitch. You are definitely reaching up into the fucking universe. So Jennifer was just like, whatever, I'm gonna like chill with like Sophie and do the best I can here, and try to make friends and etc etc. Well, there was some more murders that happened like in this movie, and they were all in an orderly fashion of getting stabbed and everything else. Well, the thing with Jennifer is that she has this telepathic connection with insects. And she was like explaining to Sophie of like a Christmas that she had the last time she seen her mother, because they divorced. Her parents divorced. And that like her dad had like 12 presents. Mom was there, and then the phone rang and she said, "I'll be down." And that was the last time that she seen her mother, was during Christmas. And then the dad found out, he was very sad, and he was like, well, that's my 13th like Christmas gift, your mom's gone. I was like, damn, that's like a little rough right there and stuff. And he was like super happy. So we found out that like Jennifer's mom was like cheating. Damn. But their bond of like a father and daughter relationship strengthened. But he was just away, filming a movie, and he just didn't want his daughter to be just in and everywhere. So he just felt like a good boarding school will be good for her, and also the agent, which took care of everything for Jennifer's accommodation, money, etc., etc. So back to where we was at and everything. So Jennifer actually had another sleepwalking episode. Well, Wheelchair Loomis like said, like, yo, if you have another sleepwalking episode, this what you need to do. You need to tell yourself like, hey, yeah, I'm sleepwalking, and then you wake up. She's like, I can't do that. He's like, no, you can do it. So she did it, and she did. And this time Sophie was gone. Sophie was supposed to watch her, but Sophie little boo thing came because he was talking about he was finna go into like this military school, and he was a little bit older, and she was just like, yo, like, I'm gonna miss you, but hey, since this is our last night, since I snuck out to school, we can, go ahead and like clap my cheeks and everything, give me something to remember by. She's like, give me this dick. She was like that, give me that dick. And he was like, nah. And she was like, oh, you suck. You ain't gonna give me no dick and everything. You finna leave. You ain't give me no dick and stuff. Like, you suck. So Sophie was like, she got murdered. Like, whap, whap, whap. And Jennifer was sitting there walking through the grounds, through the garden, the grounds. And she sees a firefly. The firefly was talking to her ass and everything. And so the firefly led her to this glove. And so she picked up the glove, she put it on, and there was a lot of maggots that was in the glove. And it was like, it scared the crap out of her. Well, Jennifer goes back to Wheelchair Loomis, tells him, like, hey, I found a glove. There's, like, these, maggots in it and everything. And Wheelchair Loomis, like, look, this could be the killer's glove and everything. And, he was explaining to the private investigators about, like, how insects can help, with police investigations, especially with missing persons, murders, and so on and so forth. Just by how they feed on them, etc., etc. And he was like, this is very interesting because this particular maggot right here, he says something about the sarcophagus or something like that of ancient Egyptian. It was like a message with that. So he was like, there's somebody that actually is hiding in plain sight with these maggots that actually like knows these grounds and know that there's a lot of y'all there, the girls and stuff, and really keeps stuff like dead bodies and pieces like that as trophies because of these maggots. And she was like, ooh, that's a little creepy right there. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to make you a private investigator. I was like, oh, okay then. So, like, he said, this my fly right here. I call him Randall because Randall remind me of the little old fly off of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the cartoon. So she, like, had to, like, put on her little hat, but, minus Chip and Dale, but she had to fly from the show. And she goes on a quest to, like, find clues about, these murders, these maggots and everything else. And, Randall the fly was like, hey, girl, hey, like, stop right here, because he started going crazy and everything. So she goes into the house. We seen this house of, like, where the tourist girl got killed. And so she's, like, poking and meandering around. And there was a guy who took care of the place. He told her to leave. She take off running. And by the way, the scenery in this movie, like, it is so freaking beautiful. I was just like, I want to sell a whole bunch of stuff and just buy a plot of land and a nice house in Switzerland. That country is beautiful right there. Oh my God. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But she takes off, like, running and everything, you know what I'm saying? Because she was like, she had, like, that Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls style. Y'all remember the intro to Little House on the Prairie where, like, Laura Ingalls and the sisters and stuff be running down that dang, that meadow. And then you see the littlest one, she, like, fall down and shit. She had, like, that Little House on the Prairie run like that. But it was, like, not going towards the house. It was going away from the house. But that was a long-ass run. So I'm like, damn, do she get some water or something? I know she tired. So she's, like, back in town, and she is talking to her dad's agent because she is like, I'm done with this shit. This shit sucks. I hate it here. People are just so mean. The only friend I have is Sophie, and she's dead. And there's a killer on the loose, and I'm afraid they're going to get me and everything. So the agent dude was like, man, you just exaggerate. She's like, no, I'm not being a spoiled brat. I'm not being entitled. Like, yo, you know me, and I don't bullshit like this. Like, please send some money. I want to go back home. I want to go back to America. Well, he didn't send any money, but he was, like, inserting himself, like, in the situation to, like, come and pick her up. So the lady that we seen in the beginning of the movie, the one that's hysterical, talking about, oh, that's a baby, oh my God, kill it. She was like, yo, hey, Jennifer, like, come to my house. Let me, like, holler at you. Let me take care of you. I'm going to make you a sandwich, give you some Kool-Aid, some seltzer water, some sparkling water, we just, like, going to chill out and everything before, your ride comes home. All right, then. Not home, but they're at her house. So she goes to the house, and she is like, oh, your house is nice and everything. And she's like, who's upstairs? She's like, oh, it's my son. And Jennifer got a little curious, and she seen the son, which wasn't a son. It was just a big old mannequin doll. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in a crazy lady's house. So she was actually extreme, like, she was dead center, like, headquarters of, like, the murders and stuff. Like, the killer and everything. So the lady told her to take some pills. I was like, bitch, them was some big ass horse pills and everything. But Jennifer goes in there and take it. I'm like, why you take the pills and everything? If you don't trust it and stuff, and she has like a dummy for a son, like, bitch, run, knock her out, something like that. But she didn't do that. So she forced herself to, like, the pills started to make her sick. And I was just like, why did you take the pills anyways if you know something fucked up with her? She went in the kitchen and then she came back out and then she was like starting to look crazier and stuff. Like, that should have let you know. So she was like gagging the pills out and she seen the maggots in the bathroom and she's like, oh snap, I'm right here. This is like where everything go down and stuff. So, she came out and the woman like, yo, you didn't take my pills and stuff. So she like knocked her ass down. I'm like, God damn, you rough. So now Jennifer is in trouble. Like, she knew, she was like, oh snap, I'm in trouble. And so the lady like heard somebody outside. And I'm going to tell you this right here. This woman had like some kind of like like high tech, like everything. Like she shut the windows down, she locked every them doors and everything. And I was just like, lady, are you like gotten prepared, like if you finna be in a bomb threat, or for the zombie apocalypse or something like that? Because you are really like locked down. So she locked her down, in this house. And the inspector was like hot on the trail of like finding out who is doing all of these murders. I mean, he had like really good hunches and everything. This is like a really good inspector. And he came there at the house because it led him there, because the house that the girl got killed. And of course, when Jennifer, had like Randall the Fly and finding all these clues and stuff, he showed up and he was asking like the guy who was like in charge of taking care of the home, that who occupied the house. It's been unoccupied for 8 months. Who are the renters? And the guy's like, I can't give you that information and stuff like that. He was like, okay, but I'm an investigator and I'm an inspector. I'm the popo and everything, but you're gonna have to like give me something. But he did, without like the guy's help. He actually was hot on the damn trail and everything. At this point, like, Wheelchair Loomis is dead and everything, but like, yes, there's like a very surprise ending, especially with his chimpanzee companion. So Jennifer was like, damn, what did I do? So she like crawled up through this door that has like those windows. I love those doors that has the window you can slide through or whatever, like right at the top. Usually is they have it to like let air in. So she slid through there and she went down this hole, and she's like trying to call the cops and try to call, like the agent guy that was coming to pick her up for help. And she felt a pair of hands grab her, and she, she's like screaming, and then she like falls into this like nasty muck, nastiness, grossness. And if you look at the room of like where she fell into this nasty gross water, I'm talking about, it's got salmonella, E. coli, Ebola, COVID, trichomoniasis. It's got chlamydia, gonorrhea, and it's full of like bodies and everything, and just boo boo and blood. And she's like opening her mouth screaming help, and I'm just like, oh Lord. I'm like, little white girl, close your mouth. Like, I would be scared. Like, you are contaminated forever. Like, you are so contaminated. You are a walking biohazard because you fell into this little pool. But I was saying about the room and everything, if you look at the room, it will give you, pre-Saw, okay, pre-Saw. So there's a lot of like horror movies, they borrow ideas from different horror movies, but if you look at it, you will just like, oh, automatically, oh my god, this is some Saw shit. And there's a couple of horror movies where you have like a very sterile room, there's like this pool of blood, guts, junk, whatever like that. And then somebody's chained up. So the inspector dude was chained up because old girl who was, I'm scared of a bee, that lady and everything, beat the shit out of him. I'm like, what the fuck did she do? I'm like, oh my gosh, she had like the strength of like Goliath or something. So she like beat the shit out of like the inspector dude. And the inspector dude was like, yo, hush, quiet, she coming back. Look what she done. But like Jennifer was just too, traumatized of like falling into this like cesspool of like everything and dead bodies everywhere. Dead bodies everywhere. I know that song from Korn just like popped up. I love Follow the Leader. That's like the best like Korn like album ever. Follow the Leader. Dead bodies everywhere. I want to like do something like where I could just take that scene and then like, or anybody, I don't give a shit, and just put like Korn like dead bodies everywhere, right in the scene. That would be badass. Like a mix. But magically, in a white girl fashion, she gets up out of this little old cesspool of just gross, And then like this, like she hits a pipe and all this water like washed her off and everything. I'm like, how the hell she clean? I mean, that shit was nasty, and she clean, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So like old chick comes in and she is just like going crazy and stuff. But like the inspector dude, he was like, you know what, fuck it. So he broke like his thumb and he was shackled. He was broke his shit. And of course you have seen some movies where some people break their shit and everything. And he was choking the life out of like, I'm scared of a bee, but I beat this man's ass and chained him up real quickly. I'm like, God dang, how she do that? So Jennifer is running down the hall, like miraculously, she is like bone dry, nothing wet, no bleach, no, nothing, just straight up bone dry. And also, she's wearing white. Okay, so like, there's a reason why she wears the color white, as of course in different movies like Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro, whenever he has his characters or his protagonists, they all wear red. If you understand like color theory and psychological effects of like how people wear colors and stuff, it's like a lot of books and everything else like that. But she was wearing white, so she was like bone dry and everything. I was like, damn, that is a badass blow dryer or whatever she had. But you see the doors. There's like a hallway of doors, and in her dreams when she's sleepwalking, she in her this lucid dream, she's lucid dreaming, and it's kind of like in the eyes of like insects. She sees all these doors that she's going through in her dreams, and those were the same doors in the same hallway that she was going through. And she finds a little boy and she's like, oh my God, this is the son, your mom treated you like crap, I will help you. And he turns around and this motherfucker is just so fucking ugly and so nasty. He is the one that's the killer. He has maggots coming out of his face. He got the old crusty, crumble up, jacked up ass teeth. And I was just like, oh my God. And it looks silly to me, now when I watched it. And I was like, oh, this is the movie that I watched years ago when I was a kid. And it scared the crap out of me seeing this boy looking like this with these maggots coming out of his face. And I have not been the same whenever I see people like in horror films that had like maggots and shit coming out of their face and stuff. I was like, I'm done. But she got terrified and he was like rabid and crazy and shit. And so she jumps and gets the hell out of there. And there's like this little lake. There's like a boat. And I was like, she finna take off like some Mission Impossible shit. He follows her out there. He already got a weapon. I'm like, oh my God. Like, this boy is really deranged and stuff. He is just mad because he looked like that. And she's trying to start up the boat. There's like this like gasoline. And it's like this ring of fire and a ring of fire and a ring of fire. And so if you like think about that, she has this telepathic connection with insects. She calls on the insects, and there's like this, here comes the cavalry of like these swarm of locusts, like come and just like, just eat this little boy's ass up. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, that's pretty cool right there. You know what I'm saying? She kind of like Sheena and stuff. Y'all remember Tanya Roberts, the late Tanya Roberts? Oh, that like broke my heart when I read about her passing away like that. Oh my gosh! But the late Tanya Roberts, when she played the chick that's like kind of like a Tarzan and everything else, she was like mystical powers and shit like that, calling on the animals and stuff. So she was like some Sheena stuff. And they came and ate his ass up and everything. But in this big long fire, and I'm just like, girl, you ain't scorched, your hair ain't singed, you ain't on fire, and nothing ain't melting off of you. You ain't got like no burn marks or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. So she like gets out and she's like, oh my gosh, she's running up that road. I'm running up that hill. And it was the agent dude. He like came by the house and he don't know what's going on. He's just like, oh wow, she's coming up out of the water like a zombie or something. And she's running up the hill. And of course she's bone dry as hell. Well, semi bone dry. and he gets his neck chopped off. We thought the damn I'm scared of bees, killer and everything was gone, because I'm like, all right, yay, like, Spectre dude, choked her out. But no, that didn't happen. She killed him, and she cuts his head off, and then she's like, I'm finna kill you, girl. I don't care about your little insect friends, and you call on them, because she was like choking her so she can't like say anything. But I was like, girl, that like telepathy don't work like that. Like, telepathy does not work with like a mouth. Telepathy works with, whatever, brainwaves and stuff. So she was like thinking she got like the best of her, and then she found out that it was her and her son that was killing the girls, just young 14-year-old girls and everything, just for no fucking reason, just wanted to do something. And the chimpanzee, remember who the hell murked Wheelchair Loomis? And the chimpanzee came with that damn straight razor, said slice, 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 and she was dead. And that was the end of the movie. Phenomena is about a young girl's journey of something that she has to face, not only a difficult situation of like, being hunted by this murderer, which it was actually the person that was right up her nose, that was right there with her with I'm scared of a bee, that's scared of a bee bitch and everything. But she also accepts of who she is. She knows that she is very intelligent, she's pretty smart and everything else, but she feels that like she is just, she's alone. I mean, you think about it, you have like a famous actor dad, you try to make friends and stuff, and they think you stuck up snotty or whatever because you're famous like that. But it wasn't the case with Jennifer. Jennifer was very well adjusted. She was very open, friendly. Oh my gosh, like just wonderful personality and just wonderful, like, characteristics. And the only person that accepted her of who she is, persons, is that Wheelchair Loomis and, Sophie. Sophie was like intrigued by her because of her father, but really found out who she really was. And she's like, wow, this is a pretty cool lady. This girl's awesome. And then, of course, Wheelchair Loomis was like, yo, you got the power, girl. She was like, you got the power. And, don't be afraid of it. Just learn to control it and everything. You're very special. You're an extraordinary person. And you're cool like that. Those were like the only people that like accepted, Jennifer. And if you look at Wheelchair Loomis character, he's in a wheelchair, he has a chimpanzee as a companion that helps him out, he studies insects, people were like, oh, he's a little weird like that. Then you had Sophie was 14 years old. She's like, she's a smoker. I mean, this girl is like in a boarding school and she's smoking. She's like, I'm French and I smoke. And, and I was like, I totally understand. I was like, that's the time I started smoking, was 14 years old. She's like, I have the problems of the world. And I'm in a damn school with all these damn stinking ass girls, and they get on my damn nerves. And you could tell Sophie didn't even have like friends and stuff herself. But she was like, like, this who I am, and, cool. So she was like, everybody was like cool. The two that I'm talking about was cool with Jennifer. The rest of the people just did not understand her because they didn't even get a chance to talk to her or get to know her, who she really is. And so they like treated her like she was a freak and or nobody, or she just thinks she's hot shit because her dad is a famous actor. I mean, even the school mistress, because she was trying to push off mental illness and all kinds of crazy mess. I mean, even calling her like part of Satan and the devil and everything else. This heifer fucking quoting Bible quotes and everything. I'm like, bitch, you crazy. Like if when you're a head mistress or, a head of a school or as an authoritative figure, you're going to fully investigate, you're going to be there for like the student, because they're in your boarding school, and you want to like be a little bit more compassionate, because she doesn't know that it's not like she intentionally like, yeah, I sleepwalk and, really, I just don't give a damn. No, she sleptwalks. She doesn't know that she does that and everything. And I was thinking to myself, bitch, you didn't even do your full of research and everything about sleepwalking. Like, you are thrown off. But to like the killer, which is the little boy and his mom, I feel that there was like a tragedy that happened like with the mom, and then of course there was like a very deep and like troubled like thing that happened to her. It was like a mental institutional guy that broke out and attacked her and stabbed her. And then after that, when an inspector was talking to her, and he was like, hey, I'm so sorry about, when the guy who broke out of the mental hospital, he did this to you. She's like, yes, she bore the scars of it, and you can see a scar right on her chest. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, oh snap, that dude like raped her, and she got pregnant, and then in some weird ass way, like the boy is like his, and I don't know, something crazy like happened to him, and he turned out like that. And I was like, oh my god, this is like, it was like so weird and so creepy. It was very subtle of like how they put it, that the mental institution guy like attacked her. It was still like a very dark stain in her heart, and he got her pregnant, and she had this kid, and this kid is just like all kinds of jacked up. I mean, it's like literally like a jacked up ass kid, and she don't know what the fuck to do. So she was like, basically, you know what, this boy is, his dad is a mental hospital, serial killer type of person, and this boy turned out like this. You know what, I'm just going to teach him how to be a serial killer. That's all what she did. She basically did that, and she was like, you know what, son, I'm going to give you some toys, which is these young girls, and so, I tell you who to target and everything else, and you could just whoop, whoop, doo, doo, doo. And that's basically what it was. But she was like, I can't have you around me because you got the damn maggots coming out of your face. And I'm just like, lady, you should have put him in some hospitals, get the best doctors. I'm like, you in Switzerland. I'm like, all those like genius doctors and stuff and everything in Europe and stuff. You should have treated him with that. I say, shit, you can't take care of something like that. I mean, that's your son, you love him and stuff. I said, but that baby need help. And so she literally was like abusing and treating her son like shit. That's the reason why he was so fucked up in the head. He couldn't like, you know, say that to her, how he felt and everything. But I'm just saying, I was just like, oh, that is so nuts right there. Like, truly, truly nuts. But if I was to give this, I'm just going to give this a rank. Like, it's a really intriguing film. It's very slow pace. You do like see like the interesting things about how the insects, how they act. I mean, and it's just a typical like Argento trademark of like busting out windows, heads flying, stabbing, blood, and all that and everything else. And you also have like Motorhead and Iron Maiden that actually did 2 songs for the soundtrack of this film. you will see Jennifer Connelly before she was in Labyrinth, and that's the reason why they put her in Labyrinth, is because of this performance in this film. There is like some switching back from Italiano, and I believe like Austrian or German or whatever, and English. So it's like three different languages in one movie. But it's like worth a look. Um, it did get a little cheesy to me, but it is like the scenery is just breathtaking. You know, you will love Jennifer Connelly's performance. There was one thing that I did not like is the whole part when she was locked up in there, and that like they dumbed her down, and I was just like, how do you have this character just be dumbed down within 10 minutes? I'm not understanding that, because she was very intelligent, smart. She figured things out on her own because she was been alone and stuff. You know, she has to rely on herself a lot. But you dumbed her down, which I didn't understand, like the whole like phone situation, and that scene could have been way shorter than what it is. I just feel like they just took too much time with it just to draw the movie out, and I felt like, you know what? I know this is an older movie. I was like, I would have cut that shit in like 2 to 3 minutes, not a whole 5 to 7 minutes over a damn phone. But yeah, they literally dumbed her down like right in that scene. And I was like, this is not good to like dumb your character down. Now your character can like make a mistake or uh-oh or whatever like that, but you literally dumb Jennifer down. And I was like, and it took so long, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'm confused. But check it out, Phenomenal or Creepers. It is on Tubi. I went down the Tubi rabbit hole with this weekend, and coming up is our final movie, which is Titanic 666. Last but not least of my spectacular getting rested and recuperate in the bed, hurt my ass, pulled a back muscle in my back while I was sleeping, to be movies is Titanic 666. Boy, howdy, you talking about this movie right here? Oh my goodness alive. Mm. Lord Jesus, and you talking about something that is so bad, but it's like a plane wreck, a train wreck, a car crash, somebody dog got hit in the road, like that type of thing right there. It's like this slow moving ass movie that Tubi has put out on the scene last year. There was like some people on social media that have watched this film, and there was like some negative, like mixed, like backlash from it. You know, for people like, how dare you, you know, do this, blah blah blah. You know, there's some that say, hey, come watch this movie. So I was like, you know, down the Tubi rabbit hole I go. This is like all before like I knew people like you was talking shit about this movie. Well, it stars Keisha Sharp and Anna Lynn McCord. Also, it has Joseph Gatt in there. If you don't know who Joseph Gatt, he has been in a couple of movies. In this movie, I did a review called The Retaliators. Basically, I call it Pastor Ned Flanders, who seeks revenge on drug dealers, but also come to find out he has to kill zombies, like some type of like Evil Dead shit. That's pretty much what the movie is, Retaliators. But Keisha Sharp and Annalyn McCord, they are some wonderful actresses and very beautiful. That's what kept me from like not stopping the movie and moving on to something else. But like those two, I was like, yo, I'm in it to win it, because really for me it was like them, because I know them from like previous movies and shows that they did, because I was just like, all right, you got two pretty actresses in this film, really been in the game for a long time, so I'm going to be interested in this. Well, it starts off As Anna McCord's character, she is an influencer. Her and her husband are going on the maiden voyage to the Titanic. This is the Titanic 3. So she was chirping like, damn, we going on this like boat ride, and I really wasn't feeling it, but we're influencers, so we're gonna have to do this. And she's like, ooh, this is like exploiting the dead. This is like exploiting people's, pain and everything, because remember the Titanic, the first Titanic that went down back in 1912. So he was like, honey, we're on camera. She's like, oh, hi. She had to put them fake ass smiles and shit and everything. And that would suck as an influencer. I mean, that is a very hard job to like do, to like keep the appearances, especially like for your like mass audience and stuff. But I couldn't do it. I would suck as an influencer. Um, Baby, it's all about the art, not about showing off. Really, that's just what it is. So they got on the ship and they were like filming and like, oh, and they met one of their fans. She's like, I follow you. She's like, oh, cool. You know what I'm saying? So they're like really nice people and stuff. And they don't like sit there if somebody that is a fan of theirs and they come like, hey, how you doing? I follow y'all. Y'all are wonderful and stuff. And they're not like total assholes to this girl. So like that was like really refreshing to like see that, though they are like social media influencers, that they're not gonna like snub their nose like at their fans, because guess what, they understand the business part of like keeping your fans happy, not being a total asshole or a cunt to them. Anyways, so Keisha Sharp's character is the captain of the ship. She has like her motley crew. It's not typically like the Flying Dutchman or whatever like that. And she has like Joseph Gatt, as this like extra layer of security, but he has like these really like ulterior motives of why he's on the ship. And of course, she's briefing them, her crew, and about everything, what needs to go on. We want to make sure our guest is happy and safe, because this is the Titanic 3 and we're going to be sailing on the same course as the first Titanic and Titanic 2. So we meet the very slimeball cringe professor. He is one of those assholes that like has like no shame of what he's doing. Well, he is like telling one of the crewmates, which her name is Jamie, about the artifacts that he went down on a deep sea dive, and he got the original things of like the people that passed away on the Titanic, and he preserved them, like as artifacts for the ship. This is not really like something he's like really parsing that like, oh, I just want everybody like the guests to enjoy the artifacts, read up on the history, take a moment of silence, respect their stuff, because he already disrespected, these people that died on the Titanic, like personal items and everything. So he's like being like a nutball and everything about this and stuff, like typical like bullshit ass behavior. But really, his ultimate plan on this ship is to like really get the wealthy people to buy these like deceased passengers like things and stuff, because he was going to profit off of them. And that was like his main slimy ass con goal, is like, yo, I'm a professor, but really I'm like a slime ball. I just want like a band, about 10 12 20 bands and stuff like that. So he has like this big ultimate plan, before they arrive at their destination, to at least sell the items. I'm like, this is not like sewing bees or like the Smithsonian. These things need to be in the Smithsonian, basically. They're not for sale. Well, anyways, we have like this seasoned witch stowaway that drops in. And I was just like, girl, how the hell you breathe in this damn bag? And I'm like, you was thrown down here. And I'm like, bitch, how you survive and stuff? Like, you should be hurt. Like, where you go to pee, where you have your snacks at and everything. Like, you should be seasick. So she was like, I am going to like curse this whole boat and everybody on it. You have desecrated my like great grandfather's like legacy. He was the captain of the original Titanic. You have like just made a mockery of like the people that was on the Titanic that has died, and this is just total BS right here. Y'all suck. And you know what, she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna learn everything what the Death Eaters have taught me, because she was like a student in Hogwarts, but she got kicked out, and so they took her in, even though she was technically muggle or mudblood or whatever like that slur right there. But they said, Death Eaters like, you know what, we are going to overlook who you are, and we're going to teach you like our dark arts, because you have like a fucking greater purpose. And they was like, yeah, she's like on our team. But then again, I got to thinking about old girl. I was like, how come you didn't even like apply for an application or a job for this like position? I mean, I was like, instead of like being stowaway, like JC Penney's like rolling luggage and stuff, you could have applied and got on as like a porter or something like that on the ship, because they're gonna need people to like help run the damn thing. But that was her bright idea. She wasn't bright like that, but she was really smart like in the dark arts and shit. So she like pulled out her rituals, her like anuki juice and beads and a picture of her great great grandfather. I don't know how many greats he is, but he was like he was that super old when he died in the Titanic. But she pulled all this shit out, and she was like, I'm finna start my ritual. So she started her ritual, all that jizma jazz and stuff. But meanwhile, everybody like on the ship, they got ready for the like big party soiree. And also they were going past the point of where the Titanic, the real Titanic, started to go down, giving like a moment of silence. So they did all that right there. And Mia, I think that's like Anna Lynn McCord's like character, and her husband, they went downstairs to like catch more footage because they were live. So like internet Wi-Fi was like working on the ship. So they seen like old girl like doing all these rituals and stuff, and they was like, is this part of the show? They ain't no people here. And I swear to y'all, like y'all could have like literally like paused the movie, went and got a piece of paper, unpaused it, and like written down like every syllable word by word of like her whole like blood ritual and everything. You would have learned a whole like 5 to 7 minute blood ritual. You would have got everything down to like summon up the ghost of like whoever passed away that you feel that you need to like have like this revenge and this reckoning, because of this disrespect of like what they did, moving and shaking and baking and everything like on the Titanic. And I was just like, girl, like, who you really need to like do all that like blood magic and stuff on? You need to do that on the professor, not like the whole people, because like they didn't know. Like they just like want to like be on the Titanic because it's not exploiting them. It's more of like, it's like an adventure, but they still give like their respects to them. And I think about it like, if they would have like not like had like a different name for them and like sailed the same course and stuff, I think that would not happen to them. But anyways, so like one of the girl who like came and seen him like in the beginning of the movie that like recognized this social media influencer couple. She was like, "What are y'all doing down here?" And they was like, "How do you know we down here?" She's like, "Cause I followed your night feed and stuff." And they're like, "What is she doing?" You know, she had like all this smoke and vapor. And like I said, you can write down everything of what she said. If you into blood magic and really deep into a cult, that's on you and everything. This ain't no novice shit. You know, this ain't no beginner's guide to blood magic. You know, because that shit will fuck you up. And trust me, I actually have a book and I was reading it and I was like, I'm too scared to do some damn blood magic. I just have it as a motherfucking reference. I have it as a reference and informational points. You never know, just in case. Somebody might see, I might see some shit. I'm like, they using some blood magic. Get away from that. Get away from. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You know. So they go back upstairs. The electricity is like all acting wonky and crazy like that because old girl, you know, she like resurrected her great great grandpappy and everything that like sailed the Titanic. And he was like, "Yo, what's up, granddaughter? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been watching you from like the ether. Like, thank you, boo, for like bringing your papa up here. Now I'm gonna like revenge like these people and stuff because they are literally like disrespecting us. They were disrespecting us, yo. He was like, y'all gotta put some respect on my name." And y'all didn't put no respect on my name like that. So he was like, "You know what, granddaughter, I'm gonna like give you some like, you know, some spirit power." So he like blew his breath and everything, and it wasn't, you know, tic tacs or whatever, you know what I'm saying? His breath wasn't even like, you know, he needed a tic tac, but you know, granddaughter didn't mind and stuff like that. But I like feel it though, like, cause like in a way, like cause I, you know, my big daddy and me and stuff, we was like really tight and cool before he passed away. And I'm like this, like, I understand because if somebody like desecrated or talk crap or like says something derogatory about my grandfather and he has passed away, and the wonderful things that he has not only done for the community but for his family and also for me and everything, and they like somebody like saying they're gonna do some, you know, be a little ugly about my grandfather and everything, I mean, I would like pull some shit too, you know what I'm saying? I would like take a piece of their hair, make a little old doll or something. But anyways, I'm sorry about that. But I'm just saying I would do some shit like that though. But I feel I'm like whatever. Anyways, the influencers heard some music out on the deck and they're like, "Oh wow, like hear that beautiful music, blah blah blah." So they started dancing like up under the moonlight. You know, it's nighttime. We on the Titanic. You know, we dancing. But it's not the music that's coming inside of the ship. It was actually the ghosts have like arrived. They're like, "We here, bitch." You know what I'm saying? It was like they dose like, you know, surprise motherfucker. You know, they were basically like dokes, like surprise motherfuckers. So they had like some issues with their camera. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on?" And then all of a sudden the husband like disappears like into like thin air, like Dracula came like from Bram Stoker. You know, Gary Oldman came like, "Yo, I'm gonna slide him in here." So he went somewhere. He just disappeared like poof out of nowhere. And Mia was like, "Oh my God, where's my husband? Where's my husband?" You know, like, how did he disappear like that quick? And we had heard this screeching noise like after the music stopped playing, and she was very disoriented. So she's walking around and trying to get her sense of equilibrium and balance, you know, from hearing this noise. And then your husband is like poof gone. And then there was a ghost that like showed up and like did like some kind of life force like sucking, blowing his bad breath, halitosis like on her, and then she like died. Well, the security came out looking around on the grounds of the ship. I said grounds, but you know, we just know it's a ship. And they see her, she's dead to the motherfucker. She is dead, dead. And they're like, oh my gosh, like she is dead. This influencer, they're like, where's her husband? Her husband's missing. Well, anyways, they look on the footage of her phone and they see that the slimy professor walked out there to like buy them a drink because beforehand the professor was just gross and everything. So when he seen like Mia and he was like, oh, she's so beautiful and everything else, like, girl, come over here, like I'm gonna like give you this dick. And like her husband started to like, yo, he was like, don't be disrespecting my wife like that. And, he was like finna like pull like a Will Smith on his ass. Because like I was like, yes, defend her honor, man. Like her husband wasn't no punk though. He was not definitely a punk. Even though he had that damn camera in everybody's face and filming and stuff, like when it come down to his wife, he gonna defend her honor and stuff. And that's like the type of man that I love to have in my life, is a motherfucker like a real ass man gonna defend my honor and everything and check a motherfucker. So he was like checking him. They got into like a little small altercation, not really quiet. And she's like, honey, let's like go. It's just, he ain't worth it and everything. Like, the professor dude was just not only slimy, but he just didn't respect boundaries at all. And he was like insulting the guy, talking about, oh, your boyfriend. And he was like, no, I'm a husband. I was like, yes, yes. I'm like, I love this husband right here. That's the type of husband that I love to have. Second husband or whatever. But anyways, I'm fine single. I love it. But whenever I get married, I want to find a dude that's gonna like check a fool, defend my honor, and everything else. Goals. So they went to like the professor dude. They're like, hey, yo, we're gonna take you to the brig. We're gonna ask you some questions. So the captain of the ship and the security guard, they were like, whoop, 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 whoop. They disappeared. She dead. You killed her. Blase, blase. But there was like a lot of things that was going up in the ship that like was totally like off balance, like in the control center. So the captain had to go up there and take care of it. Well, we come to find out that the security guy that's supposed to be throwing this extra layer of security for our guest and everything, him and the professor are like partners. So he was the one that was bringing all the wealthy people on the ship, so the professor can like, throw that game on them, and they will buy the deceased, Titanic objects that he found during his like excavation. And though he was like, security dude was like, you killed that woman, you did this and did that, and he was like 13%. And so they was like negotiating. It was like funny and stuff. And then he's like, all right, 12%. I didn't kill that woman, and I damn sure didn't even fuck with her husband. He like left. So Professor Dude was sitting up in the brig, chilling, and then there was like a water leak or whatever. Then he was like, damn, this leaky boat right here, like off of Mortal Kombat, we're going to save the world on a leaky boat. So he was like, damn, somebody toilet running. And he looked, and it was like a ghost, and he was like, oh snap. And then he was like tied up, like SMM tied up or whatever, like that. Like all of a sudden, just in a snap, he's all tied up. And I was like, it's a kinky ghost right here. This ghost kinky as hell. We're gonna have the water going, and he's gonna be tied up. But the ghost didn't mess with him. He like flew off somewhere. And then this is like where everything, like the shit hits the fan. Everybody's like seeing ghosts. The ones who purchase the items from the professor, paying like exorbitant amount of money, they were killed by the ghost. I mean, it was like, I'll say like at least like 2 or 3, had like some really good, like good gripping deaths in this movie. So while everything is just like going like ape shit, in this film. They have to evacuate because there was like no reason whatsoever to keep the passengers on this boat because you had mechanical failure. They hit an iceberg just like the original Titanic have. Then you have all these different ghosts go running around killing folks. So season witch, stowaway, she came into the control room and she had like that damn, remember I told you that she had like her grandfather like possession powers and stuff. So she was like holding her hand up like she Darth Vader and everything and like throwing them people against the wall and stuff. I was like, that's some strong shit right there. I was like, damn, your grandfather gave you a good ass gift though. So she did that like with the captain. But before she did that, she touched stowaway like seasonal witch. And she's saying that she is the descendant of the original captain of the Titanic. And of course, like the captain, she's trying to like, make sense of it and want to help her. But like seasonal stowaway witch, like, nah, y'all messed up, y'all suck, and y'all ain't getting off this ship. All of y'all gonna die. Y'all have desecrate these people's, grave, their items, and them themselves, because you ain't got no type of respect for them. And then she just like slits her throat, and I was like, damn, that's like pretty cool how she slit her throat though. And I told you like that was like one or two of them. That's like the second one of like the whole, like kind of like the aspect of horror, she slits her throat pretty good, to my like opinion. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, she did not do this. And then the captain was like really sad. She's like, damn, I couldn't reach her. Everybody was still, panicking, getting on a boat. They're like dropping down in the water. Some of them ain't even made it. They falling out. Everywhere. So like security guy, the one I told you that was like partners with the professor. Anyways, he's seen the ghost of Mia, which was the social influencer that was the first person to get killed when the ghost came out. And she did like the, all that, that blowing that bad breath, and he dies. And then Julie is one of the crew. So she's like running all about and stuff. And then there was like this, like a boat and everything that was hanging, which was like representing, the rescue boats that they usually have back in the day. Whenever something that does happen, for emergency, you have like those small wooden boats for everybody to get in and pop down in the water. And it falls down on her. That was okay. That was an okay death right there. It was all right. It was a little cheesy and everything, but it was like fucking predictable and stuff. So the ones that like got like had the bad breath of like the ghost, the Titanic ghost, they like turned into ghosts. The ones that got killed by the ghost that didn't have like the bad breath and everything, they like literally like died at their hands, because I feel like, to me, it was like the way how they presented, like it was a bit confusing. Like the ones that actually possessed their possessions, those were just like, those were marked. The ones that didn't, they come up and blow like their bad breath on them, and they're like, oh, I'm a dead, I'm a ghost now. So everybody got off the ship. The ship went down, same fashion, just like the Titanic, like it did over a century ago. So Professor Dude survived it. He really did. He survived it. And he was just like, oh man, I feel terrible, and he's just like cold and shaky, because you're out in the Atlantic and it's like got icebergs running around, just like chilling. And then here comes the captain, who is Keisha Sharp, and I was just like, damn, how do you look still fabulous? You went in the water. You should have been dead with everybody in the ship, but somehow you just like survived it, and your white captain's uniform is still pressed. Like she got that shit out the cleaners before she came into the rescue boat. And she just had like, and it was like somebody like spritz water all over her, but and then like her hair, it was like still pretty, and I felt like in her contract she was like, don't make me look too fucked up in this scene, but I still want to look good. So she's actually really pretty, getting in this little boat with the professor, and the professor, he basically said, you know, I'm a bad man. It's my fault. And she was like, well, you know, I mean, we got everybody out. She's like, that was my duty. Like anything, you know, I am responsible for these people. I want them to get off the ship. I didn't want anything bad to happen, but this catastrophe like happened and everything, you know, like they was like sharing like parts of their guilt with each other, being vulnerable. And then he spoke his last words, and she's like, oh my God, Professor Slimeball, are you like alive? And he turns into a ghost and like gets her, and that was like the end of the movie. Titanic 666 is like one of the worst, craziest, funniest, I don't know, cuckoo movie. But there are two things that I do agree with it. Don't touch dead people shit, and respect the dead. Those were like the two important, like shining, crowning, you know, PSA, you know, the more you know, with the damn star and the rainbow and everything that you seen on like NBC sometimes, like on Saturday mornings. Like it was like that. It was that type of PSA. So I like, that's what I like loved about the aspect of it. But also shout out to Tubi, because Tubi, you can put a movie out on Tubi. It don't even matter if it has to be top notch Hollywood or whatever. Tubi does give a platform for like people that are very creative to like put their movies out on streaming service. I feel this is like the first streaming service where literally if you strike up a deal or send Tubi or whatever, a letter or something like that, to be like, yo, we're gonna contract your movie and stuff, and we're gonna show it for free for everybody to like watch. And I'm telling you, because there is a guy, his name is Michael, and he's from Tyler, where I work at, and he has a movie that's on Tubi called Parole Money. I'm not joking with you, because when I looked up and seen that his first movie, Parole Movie, was on there, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, Tubi really do support creators. They support art. They know it's not like the best movies, but I feel like they give people an opportunity to like put out, you know, you have small independent movie companies, creators, actors, things like that. I mean, even there's a movie from Wig Wolf, and also y'all check out Wig Wolf because he's on YouTube, and also I'll follow him on Instagram because he's coming out with the Wizard of Oz. But he actually has a Tubi movie, you know, on Tubi, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is like really cool. But really, shout out to Tubi. I don't care what anybody says to my Tubi got these crappy movies and stuff like that. But I feel like Tubi is like bringing a larger audience in the streaming services of where you can find like your best friend who's like an aspired filmmaker, and he or she can do a film and they put it on Tubi. I feel that's like very supportive and stuff, but like YouTube, okay, awesome, but like Tubi, to me, I feel that it's like very innovative. It's very different, and it's an outside of the box thinking from Tubi. So shout out for Tubi for just doing stuff like that, because I was really shocked to see Parole Money, which is, you know, filmed in Tyler, Texas, of where I go to work and everything at, is on Tubi. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. Now, the whole special effects of like this movie, of course, it is a if you would think about like how we laughed at Sharknado, how ridiculous it is, and everything else, it it puts me in the mind of like somebody had like Adobe Creator, Illustrator, and then like a Nintendo 64. That's like how it looked because it was like CGI. There was maybe like a couple of like practical effects. Like I like the practical effects, but the CGI part of like the ghost. In between Adobe Illustrator Creator and Nintendo 64. Hey, that's all right. It's cool. It's cool. I would have liked it with like they did like practical effects like on the, the dead Titanic people. I think that would have been pretty cool. Like mix it up a little bit, and then they really didn't like just grab like at the people or whatever. I feel that even though they're spirits that has been resurrected by seasonal witch stowaway chick, I feel that they could have like put a little bit more emphasis like in like the ghost. And I was got to thinking to myself, I say maybe they felt like doing CGI would like be better. I don't know. That shit look like it cost and everything. I think I would have done like a mix. That's just my opinion about it and everything. I didn't make the movie and stuff, so you know. But Titanic 666, please do watch it. It is nothing but pure craziness and it's boring as shit. Uh the real actually only acting that like I seen was from Anna Lynn McCord and Keisha Sharp. Joseph Gatz was okay. Like I don't know if this dude like has a mental block or something, but it just feels like he does like a better job whenever he plays like a villain, like he did in Retaliators. I think that's like more of like because he has a very unique appearance and plus he's like bald headed as shit. Um, but I feel like he does have like he has, I mean, not to be like typecasted because you don't want that, but he was kind of like he was like a semi villain in this film, but I feel like he was just very dry in like in this film. The guy who like played the professor, he was nasty and slimy and no kind of nobody's boundaries. And I feel like the guy like really did a pretty good job of being like that, but it was some pretty dry acting. The shit was dry, drier than a cat turd, to be honest with you. But that is enough of my time. Thank you so much as we conclude the Tubi rabbit hole while I recover and feeling a little bit better. Please, y'all, please stretch. As I said, PSA, please stretch before you go to bed. Sex, taking your shoes off, getting in the car, doesn't matter. Please stretch. Please drink a lot of water. Please hydrate. Have a jug or something of water by your bed because I know my nightstand looks like a pharmacy and a snack bar. Sometimes it can change into like a buffet table at times and everything because I'm just a lazy, chubby bitch like that. That's funny. I just called myself a bitch. Not really. I'm not like that. I was just being funny and facetious. But you can follow me on Instagram at The Random Horror Show. And if you are on Threads, do go click that link in my like bio on Instagram and you can follow me on Threads. I talk a little bit more on Threads, just throwing out some crazy ass doofus stuff. And of course there's some horror stuff. But then like I like it because you could throw out like some just general shit as it is anyways. Um If you want to drop me anything, a good old email, tell me how or how cute I am, or call me Big Booty Judy or something like that, you can email me at therandomhorrorshow@gmail.com. If you are a content creator, a writer, anything else in the horror community, of course, you can hit my DMs, and you can also follow me on Facebook at The Random Horror Show. Everything's like Random Horror Show, The Random Horror Show. Shit. All of that shit. There goes my allergies. I hate when I do that right there. Y'all probably like, damn, does she blow a nose? Yes, I blow my nose. It's just it's just involved. Don't leave me alone. Everybody does it. Leave me alone. See, do it like that. But no further ado. Thank you very, very much. I am Keisha Lacey, and this is The Random Horror Show.